să meargă la grădiniță, de exemplu, sau când spune tot timpul nu.
Ei bine, sunt situații despre care colegii noștri părinți vorbesc des în redacție și pe care, de altfel, orice părinte le trăiește.
Și pentru că vorbeam de dimineață cu Teodora, că a pomenit-o și Valentin, editorul nostru, are un fiu aproape adolescent și ne spunea că se simte depășită de situație cam de, atenție, 100 de ori pe zi.
Bine, putem doar să sperăm că e adevărat ce se spune, că meseria de părinte se mai și învață. Există cărți, experți în parenting, psihologi care abordează relația părinte-copil din toate unghiurile, caută soluții.
Ei bine, weekendul acesta, Alfie Kohn, un scriitor care a revoluționat parentingul, sistemul de învățământ și de management, a ajuns și în România, din nou cu sfaturi pentru părinți despre cum să facă față personalității puternice a copiilor și cum să-i crească în armonie.
Colega noastră, Octavia Geamănu, a stat de vorbă cu el și l-a întrebat câte ceva. Hai să vedem răspunsurile.
What do children need from their parents in order to be happy?
The first thing they need is for parents to ask that very question, to be more focused on what their children need than on getting children to do what they're told. The second thing they need is for their parents to love them unconditionally, with no strings attached, instead of using rewards and punishments to control them.
I've read a few years ago your book, Punished by Rewards, something that most parents do, and it has effect on short run, but in time this doesn't seem to be such a good idea. How do you explain this?
Rewards, like punishments, are ways of doing things to children, not working with children. The more you reward people for doing something, the more they lose interest in whatever they had to do to get the reward. If I threaten you with a punishment, if you don't do what I tell you to, I will make you unhappy. It's obvious I'm trying to control you, and people don't like being controlled.
What about teachers that use rewards to their students in classrooms?
Exactly the same is true, which is why I've looked at research in classrooms and in workplaces for adults, as well as parenting with families, to show that in all these cases, rewards like punishments can get only one thing, which is temporary compliance, but at a huge cost. So it is much better in all environments to stop treating people like pets.
What should be the degree of freedom that you give to your child without making the authority to disappear?
Kids learn to make good decisions by making decisions, not by following directions. Autonomy comes from generating options, not just selecting. Parents are not giving over all authority, but most of us could use, could stand to push ourselves much more, to let children have more say about their lives.
What are the signs that you spoil your child?
You can't spoil children by giving them too much love. I'm only concerned about spoiling when we try to compensate for our lack of time and attention by giving children too many things, too many toys or gadgets and so on. But I'm much more concerned about parents who are too worried about spoiling their children and withhold what the children need than I am about children who get too much.
How should I react when my child says, I do not want to go to kindergarten?
First, by taking the child's concerns seriously. It may well be that the kindergarten is not worth going to. It may be that the classroom is not responsive to children's needs, that it uses rewards and punishments, that children are over-controlled and not allowed to play, in which case the child is right. The problem is with the classroom, not with the child's refusal. Second, I would be looking carefully into what the kindergarten is like and talking to other parents as well as teachers to try to make it worthy. If everything checks out and the kindergarten is a wonderful place, then the child may have other reasons. I don't want to stop playing here. I want to spend time with you. These are all reasonable concerns.
What should we do when most of the time the child says no?
Depends. Sometimes we must put our foot down, but many times we don't. Many times we have to begin by asking, is the problem with what I'm demanding, rather than assuming the problem is with the child who needs to be fixed?
There are moments, most of the time, when it would be so easy that our child would do it our way. But this sounds like a mission impossible.
And it should be mission impossible. Why should one human being always have to capitulate to the other human being's demand? Even very short people have the need, have the right to have their preferences taken into account. We are older, we know better, but sometimes we say, no, you can't, or it's not allowed, purely for our own convenience.
In Romania, many parents complain about their children doing too much homeworks after school. What do you feel about this?
The research fails to find any benefit to any kind of homework before children are in high school. So there is no justification in most circumstances for forcing children to work what amounts to a second shift of academics when they get home from a full day of school. That's why a growing number of teachers and schools are realizing that there is no need for homework. All it's doing is causing family conflict, upset children, and less excitement about learning.
Dacă ar fi să tragem o concluzie, ar fi că ai noștri copii au nevoie mai presus de orice de dragoste, înțelegere și acceptare a ceea ce sunt și nu a ceea ce ne dorim noi să fie. Pentru Observator, Octavia Geamănu și Radu Mocanu.